Let's make a super cool baby blanket. Okay, well, this is a beginner project, but it was still really fun to make, and it doesn't take very long, and it looks so pretty. So let's make one. So we're back with a blanket project. Now this is a it's actually a really quick project. It didn't take me terribly long to crochet this, and it uses a nice thick yarn. This is a size 4 yarn, but you wouldn't think it because of how thick it is. Anyway, this is a baby blanket. However, you can resize it to make it in any size you want. It measures 26 inches across by 29 inches in height. So, you know, resize it if you want to make it into a throw or anything like that. But yeah, so this was quite simple. It is worked in multiples of 4 plus 2, and we're going to be working in repetitions of 4 rows. So yeah, and then we have 3 different color changes. So let's talk about supplies real quick. First is your hook. Now this is a 12 millimeter Tunisian hook. Yes, it does have to be a Tunisian hook, so you're going to need either the cord or one of the like aluminum ones that's the really long hook. So, but it needs to be Tunisian. The yarn, this is a medium weight yarn, or a worsted yarn, a size 4, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you know it as. I use 3 hanks as you can see, in the 3 different colors. It's a total of 600 grams for those of you that use grams. So each of these hanks is 200 grams or 392 yards a piece. So yep, the kits are available in the shop if you want to check those out. It comes with the yarn and the PDF pattern. So, and I put up a ton of different colors. So, or, yeah, use your favorite yarn. Doesn't matter. But you're going to need at least 600 grams. So, yeah. Let's talk about the construction of this project real quick. So let me zoom out because I was kind of close. All right, so here we go. Everything is kind of in 4s. So your multiples are 4 plus 2. So I made a chain of 62 stitches. And then each of these little squares is 4 stitches by 4 rows. So that makes it pretty easy. The only thing that's different is the first section, because you do your chain and then you have a foundation row, and then you're going to do 3 rows. Instead of the 4, you're going to do 3. And then you begin the 4 sequence. At the end, you're going to also finish with 3 rows. So it's going to be the last 3 rows and then your bind off. And that way you have 4 rows here and 4 rows here, even though they're a little bit different than the rest of these. You have color switches every 22 rows, and you have a total of 66 rows. So there we go. I'm going to do a small sample just to show you the stitch. But as you can see, I didn't have a whole lot of yarn left over. So this is the yarn that I had left over from the blanket. So here's one color, and here's the other color. And then I had such a tiny amount I had like that much of the dark pink left, because everything was a little bit more loose on this one for some reason. Anyway, so I didn't have a whole lot of yarn left over, but let's use what we do have so you can also take a look at the yarn. So we're going to begin with a slip knot. And where's my hook? There it is. All right. And you begin with your chain. Again, at 62 if you're making the blanket in both that size, or whatever multiple of 4 plus 2 you want. I'm just going to make a small sample, so I'm going to crochet, 10. So you're going to yarn over and pull this loop through this one for 1. And we yarn over for 2, 3, 7, and 8. And so that's my multiple of 4 plus 2, so 9 and 10. All right. Once you have your chain, you're going to skip the first chain the first chain you made. You're going to go into the second one, and you're going to cast on a foundation row. For this, you insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And you're going to leave that on your hook. And you repeat this in all of the chains of the row. So you insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And then we do it again. Once you've cast on all of your loops, you should have the same number of loops on your hook as the number of chains you crocheted. So I need to have 10 loops on my hook. If you're doing the blanket, you need to have 62, or whatever multiple of 4 you went with. All right, then you're going to complete a foundation row, a return pass. And this is the same return pass you're going to use throughout the entire project. So you're going to yarn over and pull through the first loop on your hook. And then for the rest of these loops, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So there's 1, 2. And then yarn over and pull through 2. And again, yarn over, pull through 2. And you repeat this until you are left with just 1 loop on your hook. All right, so the first group of 4 stitches we're going to make is the purl stitch. So we're going to go over it nice and slow in case you're new to this. But for those of you that are more advanced, I'm speaking too quickly. You're going to do 4 purl and then 4 knit, 4 purl, 4 knit. You're going to repeat this a total of 7 times. So you need to have, I'll do it on the dark side. There we go, so you can see it a little bit better. We're going to have 15 squares across. So in the pattern, you're going to see that it's the instructions for these two, and then you repeat it 7 times, so you have 14 squares. And then the last square, which is square number 15, you're going to crochet as a purl, at least for this first section. Remember that we're only doing 3 repetitions of that first row for this first section. From here on out, you're going to do 4. So it's 4 rows, 4 rows, 4 rows, and so forth until you get to the end. All right, getting back to this though. For the purl stitch, which I almost called it a reverse stitch. In Spanish, it's called a reverse stitch. I know, weird fact that you maybe didn't care about. But all right, we're always going to begin on the second vertical stitch because this first vertical stitch, you already have it on your hook. So for those of you that are new to Tunisian crochet, the vertical stitch is made up of this little back leg and the front leg. So for the purl, not the purl stitch, yeah, it is a purl stitch. Sorry, see, it's getting me all confused doing the tutorial, like filming it in English and in Spanish in the same day. All right, so you're going to reverse yarn over. So you're going to pull the yarn in front of your hook. You're going to hold that down. Then you're going to insert your hook behind the top leg of the stitch. You're going to release your yarn and pull it under the stitch. And then you're going to do a regular yarn over. So you pass the yarn here through the back of the hook. And you pull this loop through this second one. And there you go. So let's do it again. So reverse yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull through. And we do this for 4 stitches. So this is the 4th one. So we go 4 purl stitches. And then the next 4 stitches are going to be knit stitch. So for the knit stitch, you're going to insert your hook between the 2 legs of the stitch and just go all the way back. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And you're going to get to the last stitch of the row. Now the last stitch of the row is going to look like this. You want this one right here. So this is the chain from the chain that we made. You want the one that's right on top. You're going to insert your hook between this little leg right here and then these 2 on the side. And then you just cast on into the final stitch of the row. Again, you should always have the same number of loops on your hook. So I need to have 10 loops, or you need to have 62 if you're doing a blanket. Now you just complete a return pass, and this is a regular return pass. So this row, you're going to repeat it 2 more times so that you have a total of 3. So again, we're going to begin with a purl stitch. So beginning here on that second vertical stitch of the row, you're going to purl. So we purl 4, and then we knit 4. So here's 4 purl, and then 4 knit. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You get to the end of the row and it looks like this. So you find this final stitch and you just cast on into the final stitch of the row. And that's it. So from here you would repeat this row 1 more time so that you had the 3, and then you're going to switch your stitch. So if we look at this right here, so you've got your purl, and then you're going to switch to knit stitch. So then you're going to begin the first 4 stitches as a knit stitch and then a purl. So you're inverting your stitches. Oh, and while I have this here, let me show you the color changes. So the color changes happen at the 22 row mark. So you're going to have row 22, and then you color switch on the return pass, and you crochet another 22 rows so that you get to row 44, cast on all of your stitches, and then work the return pass as a color change. And I'll show you that right now. So I'll leave this here. So once you've cast on, say this is row number 22, we're going to grab our yarn, which I don't know where I left the tail end. Here we go. Leave a nice long tail end. So if you're new to crochet, always leave a long tail end. You can weave that in, but if you make it too short, you might not be able to, and then your work unravels in the wash, and that really sucks. All right, so you're going to loop the second color onto your hook, and then you're going to pull it through that first loop. So it's just the yarn over, pull through 1 for the return pass. From here, you do the rest of the return pass just like you would any other one. So now it's going to be the yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, until you are left with just the one loop on your hook. And that's it. That was the color change. But yeah. So after you've switched your color and you've done at least, the first few stitches or the first part of the row, you can cut your first color. But remember, again, leave a nice long tail end. You can weave that in later. And to weave them in, I always use the back of the stitching. So I use the return paths, because see, there's a whole bunch of space for you to weave it in. So yeah.
Once you've completed all 66 rows of the blanket, you're going to have to complete a bind off. Now the bind off is going to be a Tunisian simple stitch, single crochet combination stitch. So if you've never seen or worked on a Tunisian simple stitch, all you do is insert your hook behind the top leg of the stitch. So just like that. And then you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And once you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through both of them. And then you repeat. So you're going to do this in every vertical stitch of the row. So again, it's a Tunisian simple stitch. So just yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. When you reach the final stitch of the row, so this little one right there, you're just going to single crochet. And then to finish everything off, you chain 1, and this is going to make a small knot, so that when you cut your yarn and pull the hook and the yarn through, that last stitch at least, it'll tighten everything up, and there you go. So all you have left to do is just weave in your tail ends and you're all set. You can find the yarn and the pattern and all the cool crochet things at the shop. The link is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again next week.